John Jack McCaig here. God bless you in the name Jesus Christ. And let's get into the Sunday show, Jesus Christ Trust. And what do we have on tapped for today? It should be interesting. Um, Thank you to George, made a donation this week. And that's why I'm doing a live stream this week. Look out for next week by the 15th. I'm going to have, so I guess that would be Monday. Monday on the 15th, I'm going to have a free home course discourse up on JesusChristTrust.net. If anybody wants to do the free home thing, I'm going to have it up. You can make a donation. I'll give every detail what I know. And if anybody wants that information and to do that work, it's going to be available then. That's when I'm going to get it up by. Okay. Any thoughts, questions, what have you, put them out, please. Um, so I titled this video Rapture Anxiety. It's actually a syndrome or whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's a reaction. It's a reaction to knowing that, the apocalypse is real, Judgment Day is real, that we're in a time loop, that's all real. You're going to have, wish you sit down and, take it all in and can't refute anything I'm saying. Um, you're going to have a reaction to that information. And it's actually listed, like you could look it up on Wikipedia, what have you, Rapture Anxiety. And so it's just the knowledge that all this is real and a reaction to it. Okay. So let's get into some things here this week I feel that are important. One is Jesus said, I am the Alpha and the Omega. What could that possibly mean? Because Alpha means beginning and Omega means end. And so, how could he say that he's the Alpha and the Omega unless there's a time loop? You see what I'm saying? Alpha, Omega, Alpha, Omega, Alpha, Omega. Um, if you're not saying that the time loop is real, what, time starts and Jesus Christ is the Alpha. Well, he was already in the story, right? He was already like living and history was existing. That's the story we're given. And so how is he the Alpha? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is he the beginning if he come in the middle of the story? Um, and how is he the Omega? Unless, wait a second, you mean this story ends completely forever for everyone? No, no. Neither one of those is true, right? So we're in a time loop that's never going to change. And it's always going to start. It's always going to stop. God is always going to start it. God is always going to stop it. And the individual who is taxed with, the beginning of the time loop and the end of the time loop is Jesus Christ. So all the avatars, all the God came in the past, the enlightened ones, the enlightened beings, like Mir Baba lists 8 actual avatars. People say F7, but he actually listed, it was Ganesh. That was the first avatar. So that's number 8. So, you got Ram and Krishna and Buddha and Jesus and Zoroaster and a few others, right? And so Muhammad. And so this story in the past, it never happened. The past never happened. The history never happened. It's never going to happen. History is never going to happen. So the history story that we're told is always the same. So these individuals, Bear Baba, the avatars, right, that are characters from the past that God made up, right? History, whose story? His story, God's story. It's God's story. And so God made up the story that there are these other avatars, and stands behind those stories. So if someone's playing a Krishna, you can have Krishna consciousness. If someone's praying to Jesus Christ, you can have Christ consciousness. In other words, God backs these uh, individual characters that were God. And so you can pray to them and they can show up. I'm not saying any of those characters are fake or anything like that. I'm just saying that they didn't live a life. Their lives don't make sense. Do you see, like, if they were to live, it doesn't make sense. Like Mir Baba, everybody listened to him. Oh my God, this guy's great. He never had a penny and he gets all this stuff done and he travels the world every day that he is ever alive is written down, and oh, so much detail. No one has more detail about a life than Mir Baba, right? No one. Every photograph, everything. He's also the one that said this is an illusion. So you have to take that in. You have to accept that. And you have to have, sorry, I need some air. You have to have a reaction to that, you know? So that reaction to this information that no one has ever broken before, of the first individual of the human uh, paradigm, right? In this time loop, I'm the first one to reveal the time loop. No one else has revealed it, just myself, and I'm giving exacting details about it. Okay, well, let's get into some of those details. One of them that's really interesting and important to talk about is Matthew 24:26. And so let's look at this in the King James Version. Okay. So this is a quote from Matthew 24:36. Because a lot of people use this uh, single passage of the Bible to say, oh, you can't know the date that Judgment Day is going to happen. But let me just explain it to you, because this is what it says in the King James Bible. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Okay, that's a really interesting sentence. Because, first of all, a word that's not in that sentence is when. See, it doesn't say when that day and hour knoweth no man. It says of. It doesn't say when, it says of. Of that day and hour no one knows. Okay, so the hour. All right, Pam. Hope you have a wonderful day. Good to be here. Okay, Pam. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hope you have a wonderful day too, in the name of Jesus Christ. So let's get into this quote. Thanks, Pam. And thanks for your support. I appreciate it. Uh, so this quote is really important because it says, of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So, of the day, we're not talking about the when, right? The day and the hour. Okay, we're talking about Judgment Day. That day and that hour are supremely important, aren't they? But of that day, I'm not saying I know exactly of that day. Have I said, oh, guess what? On that day, such and such is going to happen exactly, right? I've never said that. All I say is, that's Judgment Day. People get judged on that day. I didn't give exacting details of that day or anything like that. I've never done that. So, of that day, I'm not saying I know everything of that day. I'm just saying I know when it is. You see, when is different than of. Of means something about the day and hour, right? It's not about the time of it, it's about what's going to happen on that day. Do you see? See the difference? See how clever it is? Well, of that day and hour, no one knows. Of. It doesn't say, but when that day and hour, no one knows. You see how important the distinction is. It took me a while to have a look at that because so many people are like, "Oh, you can't know the day because of this passage." Well, it doesn't say when. You see, it doesn't say when. And I know that the 330 million fallen angels, they all know when the day is, but of it, see, it also says it here, of that day and hour, no man know, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So the fallen angels doesn't say nothing about them down here, right? It says the angels of heaven don't know of that day. But the angels down here under the dome, they know. See, they do know. They know about it. They know of it. They know what's going to go on. It's repeated so many times for them. They know of the day. They said it to my saints. You know, wearing a compass on their hand, and so many other marks and so on that always just point right at Judgment Day. All the tattoos and all that stuff. That's all about Judgment Day. All the signs and symbols on all the large corporations and governments and all that, they all are 100% focused on Judgment Day. You see? So, of that day, they know what's up, the fallen angels, and they know when it is. I know when it is. They know when it is. You know when it is. So, you say what you don't know. You've looked into my work and can you refute when it is? No, no, I can't. Can't refute when it is. When Judgment Day is. Okay. So, let's go into a few extra things here that I think are really important. Um, I've just begun my work on some other things, and you know, history repeats itself, doesn't it? History repeats itself. That's it. Uh, so I named this Rapture Anxiety because what about that issue? You see what I'm saying? In the Bible, there in the New Testament, in Revelations, in that information, there are actually two times that Jesus Christ comes in relation to this time loop. There are two separate times that he comes, and you should really look this up because it's fascinating. What is commonly referred to as Judgment Day, right? Alpha, Omega. So that would be Omega Day, last day, Judgment Day. That's what Jesus Christ is going to come and uh, make his decisions and start his kingdom on earth and all that stuff. You see, that's Judgment Day. That's Omega Day. So, but there's also something else in the Bible in different places too, saying that Jesus Christ comes a second time, right? Because if you look at it, in the Bible and Revelations, right? There's a section called the sorrows. Also, some people call them the woes, the sorrows, because that's the word they use in the Bible, sorrows. So there's 7 years of sorrows, okay? 7 years of times just get worse and worse and worse and worse until Judgment Day 9/11/2033. So 7 years, right? So that would make those 7 years start basically 9/11 2026. 9/11 2026. Uh, it says 7 years, but it doesn't say 7 years to the date. It doesn't say that. So it says 7 years. So whether it's that exact day or not, it's hard to know. You know, um, whether it's 7 years to the actual day. 7 years, 365 days times seven. It's hard to know whether it means 9/11 uh, 2026 as starts the woes, or it's just a date near then. It's not super exacting about that. Okay, so what's there about that 9/11 2026 time period that's significant? Well, because that's the first visitation of Jesus Christ supposed to happen then. He comes and maybe I should read that. Uh, and this is Revelation 1:7. Okay. Behold, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all the tribes of the earth will wail on account of him. Even so. So it's funny that there is Mayor Baba did break down that what Jesus Christ talked about when he talked about clouds is the spiritual planes. So he's saying the Bible's saying that you're going to see Jesus Christ. In other words, you're going to have that experience of um, you know having a interaction with Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ is real, right before the beginning of the sorrows or beginning of the woes. So, and in that time, Jesus Christ, what's the rest of it? Let's see about this. Yeah, Revelation 1:7. Let's look at this. And that's right after that. Let's look at this. Revelation 1:7. Look, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all the peoples of the earth will mourn because of him. So shall it be. Amen. And then what's the next? 8. What 8 is I am the Alpha and the Omega, who is and who was and who is to come, the Almighty. So you can see from there that what people generally call the rapture is that time right before the sorrows. um right before the sorrows. Let's see what it says here. Greetings and doxology. Okay. 1:4 was when 1:4. John, to the seven churches of province of Asia, grace and peace to you from him who is, and who was, and who is to come, from the seven spirits before his throne, and from Jesus Christ, who is the faithful witness, the firstborn from the dead, and the ruler of the kings of the earth. To him who loves us and has freed us from our sins by his blood, and has made us to be a kingdom and priests to serve God the Father. To him be glory and power forever and ever. Amen. Look, he's coming with the clouds. So Bear Baba said that the part where Jesus goes into the clouds and talks about clouds is about the spiritual planes. So when he comes right before the woes, before the sorrows, he's supposed to be, the rapture information is those that were with him 100%, and they live their life in accordance with being with God, with being with Jesus Christ, with living with the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Figured out the truth and lived and chose what actions to take based on the truth. Those people are supposed to leave on at the rapture, and then 7 years of sorrows. people think of that as kind of a second chance before Judgment Day. Clean up your act, and maybe come Judgment Day, you could get a change in your judgment. So this is really fascinating information to look into. So the question becomes: are there uh, 9.5 years left, or nine and whatever, 5 months ish? Are there? Well, it appears that for everyone who's not listening to the truth, definitely. You're here till Judgment Day. Definitely. You're definitely here till Judgment Day. Uh, for the rest of the people, for the very incredibly few people that are alive, that are actually accepting the truth and living the truth and basing their lives on the truth. And I don't know how many people this could be, because I'm the only one that has um, said the truth. We're in a time loop. History's fake. Everything I released over a decade plus, everything in Game of Souls book I've given out, everything like that. Everyone came on pilgrimage and asked their questions and got their answers. Like, there's only very few people that know the truth. Um, the fallen angels, they know the truth, right? They all know the truth. And so, they're here to perform their character role, and that's needed for the whole game, isn't it? So I don't see why they would be leaving, how they would be leaving ahead of schedule. I don't see how that's going to happen. So I don't know. I don't see that. So um, but to the rest of to the few people that are here, like, 9.5 years, that seems like a long time. Like, every day it ticks by another day. But why would the why would someone like me and any other saint that's alive, um, why would they have to be here for the sorrows? Like, why? I'm here ahead of schedule, say, guess what's gonna happen? Judgment Day is then, and then there's this whole rapture time period that's mentioned in the Bible, right? 7 years ahead of schedule for Judgment Day. Jesus Christ is going to come and let everyone know, hey, if you're supposed to leave, let's leave now. So that's a really fascinating piece of this time loop. Um, whether or not everyone has to be here till Omega Day, Judgment Day, for the apocalypse, for the end of time, for the end of everything. Um, would it be something that those that have listened to truth, that have followed the two commandments, love God and love your brothers and sisters, why would they need to have to go through um the sorrows? Like, why? What would be the point of that? Like, why would they have to do that? Would it, in other words, they already come to the truth, they live the truth. And so Jesus Christ comes 7 years ahead of Judgment Day. Why would they need to be subjected to that situation, of the sorrows, of the woes of this, really degenerating society with so many horrors coming up? Like, if you didn't need them to hear the truth, to live the truth, and so on, why would you need them? In other words, hey, I'm with you, God. Like, I get why you have to do all this horrible stuff right before Judgment Day, 7 years of sorrow for so many people because they refuse to listen. I get that. I get that. And it's truly compassionate that God would have like this 7-year time period where it's like, hey, get your act together. I'm going to have to, do some things up in here. And it's all pre-scripted, predetermined, what God is going to do to make people change their mind and come to God. That's predetermined every time loop. Hey, God is compassionate itself. Here's a whole nother time period where guess what? Pre-judgment day, I'll let you try and get your deeds together. Sorry. Um, get your deeds together, change your act, sort out your life, and change your ways. You know, that there's a compassionate God, obviously there is, that wants you to win this game, created this game, and wants you to win this game. It would make sense that, you know, okay, hey, we'll give you a second opportunity here. Um, and so what's going to happen? The information that a lot of people have determined, and it's hard to refute, is that this rapture thing is an event that's going to happen. Sorry, for some reason I'm having a reaction today to this all this pollen. Um, so I could see how it would be difficult, with the sorrows coming up. Oh man, we got a bad time coming up here. Like how you prepare for that? It's like, well, you would prepare the same way and do everything that God says. That's what you would do. Do what the saints say, do what the prophets say, follow along that information, follow and do what needs to be done. And then, hey, maybe you could miss the sorrows. Maybe, it says one person will be in the field and they'll basically, it's talking about in different places in the Bible that people will disappear from where they are. That's a rapture. A rapture is, remember when, for those people that are on pilgrimage with me, remember when I got to Mary Baba's tomb, I just had I had a moment of rapture, right? I was just laughing my head off like a maniac, because of bliss, like where you get to God is bliss itself. And so where you're having a reaction to that bliss, what is that reaction called? It's called rapture, right? You have this rapturous moment where, you feel the good of God and you have a reaction to that instantaneous, automatic. You're just enveloped in a bliss, and that's called rapture. When you talk with like Buddhists and so on, it's like, oh well, I reach higher consciousness and so on, which is stages of the planes, like Mayor Baba talks about. You have a moment of rapture. Oh, I'm interacting with God directly, and so that moment is a rapturous moment, right? You hit the bliss and you have what's called rapture. You see? Yes, I remember you were in a bliss. Exactly, Pam. Exactly. Well, you had a moment with Guy. That was your reaction too, because you can't have an interaction with God and not have a blissful feeling, because God is bliss itself. So meeting with God and that interaction is a rapturous encounter. You see? So that's why it's called a rapture, due to the bliss that God gives off. Oh, wow, I have a reaction to this, the bliss. And so that's rapture. And so that's what happened. The only thing is, I have my rapturous moment, but I'm still there. Everything's predetermined on the timing and so on, like that. Uh, when it's going to happen. Because the game has to be the same every time, or else every soul has a different game they play. And no, 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 no. God is compassionate itself. God is fairness itself. God wouldn't be like, hey, I'm going to make a game and everybody's going to play it, but I'm not really that fair of a God. So let's change the rules every time. Nah, that's not God. God would be like, let's have a fair game. Let's play a fair game. Every soul gets tested the same way. God is fairness and compassion itself. And that's why the time loop happened. Because God's like, well, how can I make this fair for everyone? Well, everyone plays the same game. I mean, yeah, there's no getting around that or refuting that. Any other statement is a statement about God, saying, "Oh, what God's not fair. God's not going to give us each soul the same test." No, no, God's not like that. God is, because then you wouldn't be talking about God, right? We what? We have an unfair God. We have an unfair. This whole game is happening, but it's happening because why? One of two reasons, right? One of two reasons. Either God loves us or God hates us, right? And so hate goes away, and the Bible talks about love. The Bible talks about love. Everything's about love. So this is a loving test of every soul, and this is how it goes down every time. Never thought of it that way. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. No, no, exactly, and that's why I wanted to get into this. Because yeah, I do know the date that George is here. Thanks for being here for us. Do you think there will be 42 months? No. The image of the beast followed by, yeah, I think there will be 7 years. I think there will be 7 years. The way I read the Bible, the way I read the scripture is 7 years. It's three and a half and three and a half. Yeah, I read it that way. I read it that way. Definitely, definitely. I read it that way where it's 7 years of sorrows. Yes, I do read it that way. Definitely, definitely. Definitely, George. I do. I do. And so this cloud event, this event where Jesus comes early and takes a few people out of the field, out of the mill, right? There are a few passages in the Bible that say someone's going to be there and then someone's going to just not be there. You see, they were there and then they're not there. They're gone. They're missing. They're not there anymore. And so that event, yes, Valeria, hey, God's made it. If we pilgrims are still here, could it be that we too know the truth you teach and we're here to help others? Yes, you are here to help others. Definitely. If you find out the truth, once you hear the truth and know the truth, you become responsible for yourself first and then for others second, right? If you just deny the truth, well, that's you. You're not going to be taken up by Jesus in the rapture. You'll be here for all the sorrows. Maybe you'll change your ways during that time, maybe not. And then if not, you'll get judged. You got to do it all again. So if you deny the truth, then that works against you. But if you accept the truth, oh, wow, I have to change my ways. Well, that handles the first commandment, love God. Oh, I love you, God. Wow, you're intense. You could do a time loop. Wow, I love you. Thanks for getting me out of here. You know, but the second commandment is love your brothers and sisters. So where you know the truth, and that's why all over India, wherever I go, I've been like, hey, everybody, listen, it's coming. These are the dates. Here's all the information. It's in our culture. It's in the script. It's everywhere around you. Uh, you can see this. You don't have to take my word for it. Refute anything I'm saying. Anything. I got a lot of saying. Can you refute even one point? No, no one can. It's not refutable because it's interwoven into the entire fabric of our reality, because the reality is always this. It's never going to change. Uh, so, but what would be the point of being here past the rapture? You see what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't the event of the rapture? Oh my God, the people missing here, they must have done the right thing. So everyone left here during the 7 years of sorrows are given 7 years of they have to have a reaction, right? They have rapture anxiety. They're like, whoa, I'm still here. What's going on? That can't be good, because logically, right? If there's a rapture event, oh, Jesus, like, hey, you were with me. I didn't come yet. I didn't do the rapture. You're still with me. Now it's the rapture time. Uh, you could come to God, right? To have that event and not take up the people that are worthy of it. Why even have the event? I'm going to keep some people there that can help others. No, 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 no. They're not staying. The point is, the people that listen to God, they're gone. You see? And then what? Crime rate's going to go up 2,000%, right? Everyone's going to freak out. Uh, they're going to have fake raptures in the future. Hey, we had another rapture. Guess what? The government's going to be like, hey, we had another, all these people are missing, but it won't be true. They'll just cook up all this stuff based on the stuff that's already pre-scripted, right? You could watch movies on this stuff or whatever. Um, but they're gonna have like this big, oh my god, this thing happened which no one can explain, but your government's here for you. We're gonna sort everything out. We're gonna make it, it must have been aliens or something. Now we could have united as a people, as humans, but now since we have this cataclysmic worldwide event, we could all come together under this one government and watch over everyone else. You see what I'm saying? It's a perfect uh, linchpin for what George was just asking about. Like, how would it change? And in such a short period of time, the devil's going to take over everything. The government is going to take over everything for your safety. Right now, you could disappear. And we're having these other rapture events, like school shootings are all fake, but they're like, we had another school shooting. See, they could just, all right, Jay, glad you made it. uh, we could have these other events, that they could spin into every which way. There's COVID, there's this. They have it all prepared. Like they did some fake events, many fake events. Everything's a fake event, and so they're just going to spin these last sorrow years into, this huge thing where they take total control of everyone. But obviously, the rapture event is going to point to, well, hey, that thing in the Bible, wow, that whole thing was real. So isn't he coming in 7 years, or don't we have to get ready for Judgment Day? That's going to be some people's reaction, but the government reaction obviously is going to be the complete opposite. That didn't happen because of that reason. It happened because of this, and they're still happening, and there's aliens, and they're just going to go. They're going to use this thing to do everything, to control everything, to turn it into this one world government. Let's take up your currency. You know, what are we going to do with all these assets that people left behind? Well, we'll take care of them and we'll dole them out to the people that listen to us. And, you know, it's just more control. More control will happen at that time. Oh, there's just, and then you look at the sorrows, there's all these horrible events that's going to happen. And they're going to be like, don't worry, the government's here to save you. We don't know why this is happening, but it appears to be climate change, and don't worry, we're gonna sort this out and all that stuff. Like, can't you see him just flipping the script into, all they do is lie all day long. The government, the news, that's all they do is just lie all day long. So they know that this event is coming up, so they're gonna spin it everything into, hey, we need to control everything because you can trust us. And man, there's all these bad things happening. Don't worry. We're going to, just like we saved you in COVID, don't worry. We're going to save you with some vaccines and all this stuff. And the people are like, no thanks. I'm going to go with Jesus Christ. Those people are going to get even more ostracized and have a more difficult time because they didn't do it beforehand. They didn't do it like now, you know they didn't fully commit to it now. So this could be a lot harder to fully commit when in the last 7 years of the sorrows. Or for some people it's going to be a lot easier because it's like, that whole Bible thing is real. Did you know that? It's like, yeah, I know it. I was standing next to somebody and they disappeared, so yeah, I know it. So those people that are going to have those direct experiences of people missing, and there's going to be some video of some people just disappearing because there's so many cameras in the world. There are cameras everywhere on every street corner. There are cameras just everywhere, so there's going to be video of people disappearing. So that's not going to be like, how do we explain people just disappear? Well, there's only one book that's saying the whole script ahead of time. So a lot of people are going to be drawn to that script in the scripture. in the Bible, it'd be like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. Okay, and a lot of them are going to flip, but the government's, to keep control and all that stuff is going to have to lay it down like harder. We're going to have to lie more. We're going to have to steal your property more. We're going to have to make up a new currency. We're going to have to blah blah blah, do all this horrible stuff, right? Because they're only good at what? Doing horrible stuff. The government doesn't do anything else. So it's really important to see these events and the timeline and understand what's going on, and then logically just look at it like, and we're trying to decode the script, and we have to decode the script based on the nature of God. You see, if you just have it, oh, let's dissect the verbiage in the Bible, and there's so many different versions and blah 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 blah. If you don't put it up against the nature of God as a yardstick, then you'll be coming up with all these stupid ideas, that are like, oh, this could happen. Well, if God's compassionate, that couldn't happen. So that's our yardstick. Will people disappearing just be the angels? No. I assume the 7,000 will be here till judgment day. I don't assume that at all, George. I think that's the point of what I'm saying. Why would the 7,000 have to be here until judgment day? Why? What would be the point of that? In other words, some amount of the 7,000 or whatever it may be, they're going to be like me. I'm with God ahead of time. Ain't nobody going to turn me. Devil sat right next to me, and I'm not with you. Keep your money, keep your houses, your real estate, all your stuff of this world. I don't want it. You know, I'll just go ahead and fight, serving my brothers and sisters with my hands out for donations. I'd rather do that, and that's the way I'd rather live my life, is people donating to my cause that are with God, and I don't want nothing from anyone else. I'm taking what I can legally from the government because they stole everything, but beyond that, no, I'm not going to get on. The straight, I sold my soul to the devil for money and stuff. Like, no, I won't do it. I've been offered, directly to my face, and the answer is no. And so, no, I'm not going to do it. So, I already was given all the opportunities to, for God to make a decision on me. What else am I going to need? Am I going to change during the sorrows and stuff? What, are you kidding me? No, it's just going to be more proof. So, but then why would I need to be here? You see? And why would anyone else need to be here? It's going to kind of take away, it's going to 100% take away what's the point of having a rapture? You see what I'm saying? God is trying to say, oh, hey, there are certain people you could escape harm, right? That's what I show. You could escape illness, you could escape death. You see what I'm saying? You could escape debt, you could escape all these problems if you go with God. And that's the point of rapture. Don't worry, I got all these problems coming up. I'm gonna give people a second opportunity, but why would them 7,000 people have to be here till judgment day? It's like, well, who are you gonna take then? You see, when this rapture thing's, oh, God's gonna come into heavens, and oh, okay. Well, then, like, who's gonna be those people? Like, who is that gonna be? There are only 7,000 that won't kneel to bow, so it's gotta be, 7,000, I would guess, that won't do what the devil says by somehow in, 2.5, less than 2.5 years time, that there's going to be 7,000 people due to, I guess, the numbers could increase greatly from like a dozen or something to 7,000 sometime in the next 2+ years. Things are going to change to a point where some people will come to the truth. And so they'll be taken out of the game before the sorrows. Like, otherwise, it's not really going to be a second opportunity, right? Because it's like, well, who's God going to take except for the people that listen? So, and what, you're only going to take part of them? Well, that doesn't make sense. Like, those people have to leave. You see? Those people are here, and then the world goes to hell in a handbasket. At that point, it gets so much worse. The government gets worse. There's nobody under the power of God like myself to step in. You see, I'd be like, "Oh, let me. How about you try and kill me over there with the guy with the gun?" And they're like, "No, no, no, no. Yeah, no. How about I get some video of that? How about I get, all the things that I've done over the years? Like what? Prove you can't be killed. Prove you can't kill me in your courtroom. I prove everything. I proved everything I talk about. I proved it all. So what would be the point? You see, the script would be pointless. God's not an idiot. Let me just make a script and then it'll be, this way and that way, and nobody will be able to make sense of it. And that way, I'm a senseless God. No, 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 no. No. That's not it. I met with God. God is firm, tough, but fair. God's like all ahead of time, right? Ahead of before time started, God's like, this is going to be the 64-year time limit. This is a test. This is the age. This is the thing everybody will have to go through, and then everyone will figure it out. You see, that's what's going to happen. And so, what there's going to be a rapture moment. There's going to be a people where there's going to be a moment where your consciousness comes to God. Everyone's like you either came to God or you didn't, and everyone has that experience. So it's like a pre-judgment day uh, visitation by Jesus Christ to pull out the people that are ready to go then. God's like, man, I know you people that have been with me for this 64-year time limit. You don't want to be here the rest of the time. You don't want anything. The devil tried to give you everything, and you're like, no, we're just sitting here waiting, like twiddling your thumbs. Okay, okay, where you coming? Where you coming? And so this is kind of a really shows the compassion of God. Hey, I'm gonna come early and I'm gonna get you out. And then those missing people are gonna create this rapture anxiety within the entire human species. How come I didn't go? How come I wasn't taken up? What do I gotta do to be ready before judgment day? What do I gotta do? And then it's like, well, what did those people do that aren't here? You see, they begin to look at their life. They begin to look at my life. They begin to look at my information. Is it's too late for rapture. It's too late to get out of here for the problems. But it's not too late because we're going to get this second opportunity. Not we, not me, but other people who are here going to get this second opportunity to get out of here. Like, so, you know, should you be budgeting your thought and your time and your existence for another 9.5 years? Or should you be budgeting your time or your experience or your money or your values or your interactions with people and the interactions with this world? Should you be budgeting more for, you know, 2 years and 5 months? Really important point. I think it's a really important point because have a really big impact on what people are going to do. How much time is left is going to affect what you're going to do, right? So yeah, Pam, what a blessing that would be. Well, that's God is all about that blessing and the grace. So how could this not be happening? If God is compassion itself, wouldn't that be like, hey, I'm going to show you something from the invisible realm, the people that didn't need it. I'm going to snatch you right up and get you out of here. You're good to go, and you don't have to do the sorrows, nothing like that. And you're with me. And while you're with me, we still got 7 years left. Why don't you watch? Because I think that anyone who's with God and taken all the heat for being with God up to this point and been ostracized and all the horrible things that have happened to you, happened to me and others who come with God, uh, you know, well, I got out of here 7 years early, and you got to do 7 years of the worst time up in here. But there's still this opportunity. Why are you still here? Why do 7 years of woes? Why do 7 years of sorrow? If that's not an opportunity to switch around the judgment come judgment day for them. You see what I'm saying? people have to change. And so I see it as a second opportunity for that God is going to give us because God loves us and is, because God is just invisible now. But if there's a rapture event, it's like, what? That whole thing is real to the people that want to accept it. That's not going to go for the scripted version. Like the government is like, bunch of aliens made him disappear. It's like, well, since no one can get outside the dome, I don't think it's a lie, right? Alias, a lie with an N on the end. Alien, a lie. Alien, a lie. So that's a lie. But the script that God predetermined for our situation, well, that's real because why? God decided that's the real game. That's the real story. That's what's going to happen to us. God made it fair. That's why it is how it is because this is God's decision. Dee Dee, I like rabbit holes. I have to leap out and be good. Everyone is on a low frequency, short-term goals. Well, maybe that's not such a bad way to think of it on short-term goals if you only got 2 years or 5 months left, you know what I'm saying? Like, pretty short term. It's not crazy super short term, but we're getting there, isn't it? It's a lot shorter than like 9 years or 5 months, way shorter. So I just wanted to bring this up as it's looking like not many people want the truth. Uh I am getting some donations and I really appreciate it. I'm gonna put up the free home stuff because the governor in Florida said he wants all the citizens to take out their guns to try and murder anyone that is a squatter. In other words, someone that takes the name of a home in the name of Jesus Christ. The governor of Florida wants all the citizens to murder them. Take out your guns and start shooting them and killing them. Well, that's not going to happen because you can't kill anyone that signed the trust with Jesus Christ. So, uh, this whole thing is heating up. And, should the free home thing happen on before Judgment Day? Oh yeah, but should it happen pre-rapture time? You see what I'm saying? Because they're geared up for that. And my whole thing of saving all the homes from foreclosure with basically the same method for a free home. I mean, that's been working for years. The proof's been out there for years, and that works for everyone. So, Didi, a tour by Rotary Cup. Oh, the surgeon yesterday was telling me why I've been walking around 8 months like this. Yeah, pray for me. He said he wants me on his schedule. I pray for you all in Florida. Thank you. You saw that on TV and prayed. Thank you. Thank you for that. Obviously, they're going to be have to be. I'm going to have to put out the free home stuff. I don't need any of that. I'm already with God. I already have Christ consciousness. There's nothing they can do to me. They want me dead. I still live. So I'm still helping people every day. But there's going to be a day when that ends and I'm not here anymore. And then this whole time loop's going to continue without me, right? With no shepherd. It's going to continue with no shepherd because things have to get crazy ugly without the people that actually have a heart and actually care about others and so on. They're all going to be gone. They're going to be missing. And so things are going to degenerate in here in this dome the way they do every time in this time loop. They're going to get so horrible because, first of all them people deserve more cataclysms and more horror because it wasn't enough up here until now. No, everything's cool. I got my money from the devil. I like this place. It's like I've seen all those people. I took a walk this morning and I walked past the boat ramp here, and there are so many boats and giant pickup trucks and just you know everything with the gas engine blazing. It's not enough to have one outboard motor on your boat. You need three of them. We need more of everything. More, 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 more. Yeah, more and newer. And I got it this year's, and I got all this stuff. And so life is cool with me. Hey, it's really cool. Everything's great. Like those people are turned into God no way, no how. They went for the money. They went for the stuff. But After Rapture, they're like, "Wait a minute. Everybody is missing. Where did all those missing people go?" And then everything starts to degenerate and get much more horrible as prescripted. Everyone's going to have to start thinking about, hey, crime's going to get horrible. All these evil people are going to be let loose to do whatever they want. And no one like me, who's out here showing the way and the methods to stop people, I'm not going to be here no more. I'm not going to be doing any live anything because I'm not going to be alive. I'm going to be gone. You see? That's gotta happen. Things have to get so much worse where there's basically no one good is left, you see? And so then it's just gonna degenerate horribly. And so maybe some of them people before Judgment Day create "Oh, I care about something now. I care about people. I have a heart." They are forced into these events which change their character, you know? Captain Jack, right? Exactly. Head of the captives. Captain. Kind of a derogatory term in a way. Hey, you're head of the dome dwellers. I'm like, yeah, but I really want to be head of the ones that got out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so far, I'm captain. Uh, not good. They're gonna be outside your door of rapture. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Afterbus could be too late. You know what I'm saying? And that's the point. That's the point, Dee. Exactly, exactly. They all know about me. The whole other team knows about me and everything like that. And some other people, they're gonna be like, "Where? Who is that guy that had that clock, that countdown clock? Where's that guy?" It's like he's not here anymore. It's like, uh-oh. There's gonna be that uh-oh moment for people that's an ongoing 7-year uh-oh. This whole thing is coming up. Uh-oh, Rapture anxiety. That's why I named this video Rapture Anxiety. You see. Valeria, if we have no free will, does it mean some of us live the script of realizing God and returning to him? Yeah. If I am in this body doesn't mean that this character me at every time loop is scripture to find. Yeah, whoever's playing Valeria, maybe if you leave, if you go, I don't know your actions from here, right? I don't know. God knows your actions. I don't, Valeria. I don't know your actions. I know you come on here and you say something, but I don't know you like God knows you and follows you around every day since day one. Only God knows everything about everyone. You see? Yeah, Dee Dee. Oops. Too late day here. Oh, it's the day after too late day. Oh crap, that news is gone. Where are his videos? Oh man, they took them all down. Because what's gonna happen, right? Uh, you know, there's no one good fighting for anything good anymore. So it's like just remove all his videos. Click, 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 click. Okay, he's gone. He's gone. He can't fight for anything. Just remove everything with Liberty Aid Academy, remove everything with Jesus Christ Justice, remove it all. Okay, great. Now, they'll just wipe the slate clean, right? Well, these conspiracy theories they're like upsetting the population, so we're going to have to remove them. First thing, that's going to be for your safety. It's like they're just going to go whole hog and they're just going to, we're just for your safety going to have to remove all the truth. Okay. All right. Good. Cool. We'll let you know what the truth is. Okay. 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 That's them, obviously. Your question does make sense, Valeria, for sure. For sure makes sense. Definitely. Where's the guy with the white beard, right? Where'd that dude go? It's like, yeah. And where did those other people go? Did you see that video footage? And then that dude just disappeared. She just disappeared. That dead lady, Dee Dee, she was just like, they had her on a camera in Austin, and then she wasn't there. Where did she go? You know what I mean? Like, the very few people that are going to be here, that creates the anxiousness, the anxiety within the society. So, yeah, there's some rapture day anxiety like coming up. Now you'd be thinking about it, but think about the anxiety that's going to happen after it. You see what I'm saying? Like people are like, oh man. how do I get out of here? How do I get ready for the next big event in 7 years? You see, that's what's going on. So, your deeds, like in Acts 5 in the apostle in Acts 5, right? When the apostles are left after Jesus, right? Jesus left, right? It's like sort of like in the last 7 years, did you give everything to us, the apostles? They're like, come in here, right? The husband and wife that died because they didn't give everything to the apostles. Well, they die. That's not good. They die. They didn't go to heaven. They didn't go to Jesus. They just die. They didn't disappear, nothing. They just dropped dead. So, like I say, if people are supporting my work, I don't get donations, and I'm not going to continue this work. Uh, I'm just going to stick with uh, Liberty Aid Academy. But on the 15th, I'll be coming up with this free home information because there is still one method that people could become a saint still, and so could make it for sure on Rapture Day, uh, and that's by going up against the powers that be, right? Who are the squatters? The cops, right? They're the ones that steal all the homes from everyone from foreclosure. The bank never signs a document. There are no documents to back up any foreclosure. That's all fake. That's all a lie. That's all bullshit. So you want to become a saint, you block that, which I've done by giving out the information how to block foreclosure. Why aren't they knocking on my door and trying to steal me out of here? Because they know that I'll pull up my camera, they're frozen solid, they lose the game. They can't do that before Rapture. They just want me gone. You see, then they get total control, and that's it. Hardly anyone listens to me, before hardly anyone's listening, and hardly anyone is donating anymore to support my work. So all them actions of not supporting the truth, that's going to be on your shoulders of judgment. That's up to you. Me, I'll just go over to Liberty Academy and keep helping people on that. If you don't want to hear the truth about God, then you'll just live it. You will hear it. Okay, fine by me. Yeah. Anybody wants to debate any of this stuff I'm right here, but the problem is you keep debating. I can't keep answering every question exactly perfectly. It's like, well, what? I'm not the guy. I don't know. I'm not that top guy for God under here, or I'm not. Then who is? You see, who is? Name them if I'm not right. If where am I wrong? I've been doing this, since 2012. Where have I been wrong? Where? I just keep getting more right, not less right. I keep divulging more truth like today. I didn't say nothing about this whole rapture thing and all that stuff before today. I didn't do it. So you want to support the truth? You want to support the guy with the truth? You want to donate to him? I've been begging for 12 years, and then one day I won't be here begging, and there won't be nobody to help. So that's just the way it's going to be. Oh, Paula's finally getting to me today. All right, everyone, that's the hour on more of the truth. You could thank George and his donation for your ability to listen to this because he donated this week. So I come on and I shared this truth. And come the 15th, I'll be putting out that free home information, and I'll also be maybe putting out some more information too. Oh yeah, I figured out I want to put out another course too, and that is get out of death, free home, and no death. I'm going to be putting those two courses up on Jesus Christ Trust, two of them. Free home and no death. What? I've proven them. I've proven these things now for years. Okay, go look at the testimonial and from the Poe family and Jesus Christ Trust on that. And it's other people too. Go look at why am I not coming up with her name right now? Uh, oh my God. I'm sorry. I get so focused on God, I can't keep everyone's name in my head. So that's God's fault, really. But Roxy, right? $6 million in medical expenses and all these horrible, health stuff, and now she's 100% okay. all the all the doctors are like, all the tests came back and your health is fine. They're like, that's not supposed to happen. Right? And Roxy's been very supportive and very helpful in coming on, like on that Liberty Aid Academy, and letting people know about her situation in live and all that. So praise Jesus Christ. God bless you, John. Thank you, George. God bless you. Thank you, Alan. That's wonderful. Thank you. What a great prayer. Thank you. Um, so anyway, some more information to think about. Like, what should you be basing your actions on, your time on? You should really investigate this and really get into the details of this whole Judgment Day date, Alpha and Omega meeting, rapture, and all that stuff, because we got a certain predetermined script up in here that really impacts everyone alive. And so, how much time do you have left? What should you be doing with that time? It really impacts everyone a great deal, doesn't it? And that's why I wanted to bring this up. And that's why we'll be putting up that information come April 15th, because I think it has, a great meaning for people to have the truth so they could exercise the truth. And then what? Beat the game, come rapture day, they're out of here. I don't want to do every miracle myself because I'm the only one that gets out. Pretty much, they could be like, "Oh, that dude's getting out," but no, I want a bunch of people to disappear come rapture day, and everyone's like, "Wait a second, how come they left?" And they start investigating. You see, and then they spend their 7 years in that investigation, and then they change their ways in that time, and come judgment day, they win the game too. My only game is my only reason to be here is to help people win the game, so they can come to God and beat this situation and not have to do it again. Okay. All right. All right, everyone. Uh, brought to us by Georgie Porgy. Thanks. Dee Dee. It's true though. I give credit where credit is due, right? Debits and credits. That's the the cross is debits and credits, right? It's a scale, like a Libra. I met this woman who she's so lost. Uh, sorry, at the drum circle last night, she was like, Roxy Trump, that's funny. She's like, oh, she's always nervous about everything, and she hates to be alone, and she has a bunch of money, and she just drinks all the time, and she's just really talking about rapture anxiety. And she's like, oh, hey, I'm getting married to this woman she introduces me to. She's like, we're getting married. I'm like, my first question was, "Oh, how many children are you gonna have?" Two women are getting married. Are you planning on having any children? How many? Two women in their like 50s, like oh, I thought it was a funny joke. They're just trying to get love and whatever, trying to get God and the truth instead, and then your future's gonna be looking a whole lot brighter. Okay? Don't go for this, you know, all this nonsense. That's what I'm saying. Uh, it's empty. This world is empty. You eat and you're hungry again. You have sex and you're like, well, that was over. And then maybe at some point you want to have sex again, right? Oh, I got a new car, but next year it's not the new car, you know? Hey, it was sunny and beautiful day. Well, then it's nighttime. So everything is in the end empty here. And all the sucker, all the wonderfulness it always goes away. Only God is the only answer where the bliss never goes away. You see? God is constant bliss, like the waves, constant, constant. God is everlasting. The whole reason to do this game, the reason the game exists, is so we can get out of the game, come back to God, and be with God, and be truly, actually happy when we come back home. That's all that's going on. All right, people. Uh, so big day. Think about all that. Thank you for the support this week, George. And if I get any support this week, I'll be back next Sunday. All right, everyone. Uh, hope you're on the list, right? Go to, geez, checking his list, checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. That's just the way it is, right? Satan's going to come and see which list you're on. If you're on the bad list, well, Satan Claus, he's going to come and sing his claws right into you and set the elves on your chip. Or do you want to be like, hey, it's Jesus Christ. I'm here. Why don't you come on home? What's your sadly, those are the two options. It's like, do you have a third option? It's like, unfortunately, we have two options. Okay, well, then I'm going to go with Jesus Christ. Okay, that's actually, we don't get a lot of people choosing that, but that's a good choice. Okay, that's what's on the menu. All right, thank you. It's up to you. You could, look into the truth and follow the truth and be with God, or it's not going to go so well. You see what I'm saying? Or Santa Claus be coming to your town. All right, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks again for George for sponsoring this program, George and Porgy. Uh, and so I'll be here next week. If anyone else sees value in this information, uh, no one else has on this information. Very few people in here. I don't see how 7,000 get on the list. Well, must be quite a uh, 2 years and 5 months. Must be something coming up here that right? Because I don't know. I know when the day is, but I don't know of the day, right? And why should I know of the day? I'm not even going to be there. You see? I'll be there at the right hand of God, like, oh, look what's happening to him. Good. I remember you. Good. You're going to hell. Yay. That's what I'll be like. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. You're the few people that know the truth, accept the truth, that are living the truth. Very few people. Very, very, very few people. It's kind of uh, creates a little rapture anxiety, doesn't it? It's like, what? This is it? Maybe another miracle is. Oh, thank you. That reminds me. Uh, there's a word, ek, oh, EKK something, is a word for is the original Greek word for uh, oh, something about God is coming, right? But that word is EKKL something. But the word is actually close to the eclipse. That word. And so when they say, "Oh, the moon won't give off its light," well, that's an eclipse. You know what I'm saying? So I see that thing is going to be happening. Judgment Day is going to be happening around an eclipse and all that, right? So that's what happened. Oh, the moon's not giving off its light. Yeah, because it's an eclipse. Okay. So just some basics of Judgment Day. Thanks for that reminder. The miracle of the sun. All right. If you want more of this information and more of the truth, donate. I'll be here next week. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you tomorrow at noon on Liberty Aid Academy game show, taking their money. All I want to do, take their money, right? They stole everything from us. Legally get it back, okay? I'm a term, I'm a KJ, right? God bless you all in the name of Jesus Christ. So maybe I'll see you next week, everyone. Okay. God bless you all.